Hello and welcome to Vice Film. Today we will explain a science fiction movie called Black Panther. Warning, spoilers ahead, watch at your own risk. In the beginning of the movie, a man tells his son the story of their people. A vibranium-containing meteor once fell to Earth in Africa, before one of the shamans spoke to the panther god Bos and ingested a herb that gave him the ability to become the first Black Panther. 5 tribes engaged in fighting over the vibranium. He became king after he successfully brought the tribes together to found the country of Wakanda. The Jabari tribe, on the other hand, decided to separate from the other tribes and seek safety in the mountains. The Wakandans isolated themselves from the rest of the world by creating a force field that obscured the country from view while using vibranium to create highly advanced technology. Now, let us rewind back to 1992 Oakland, California. Njobu and James are 2 men who intend to distribute weapons throughout the city. James finds 2 Dora Milaje fighters there. After identifying himself as a Wakandan, Njobu acknowledges their presence. Njobu's brother King T'Chaka walks into the room with the warriors. After being dispatched to California as a spy to locate Ulysses Claw, T'Chaka asks Njobu to return home, but Njobu has other ideas. Then, T'Chaka makes the revelation that James is actually Zuri, another Wakandan spy. As soon as they learn that Njobu has stolen vibranium for personal use, they will return home and put him on trial for his crimes. Cut to the present. After T'Chaka passing, T'Challa will take over as king. Along with Okoye, a general of the Dora Milaje, he is flying over Nigeria. The idea is to rescue his ex-girlfriend Nakia, who is working undercover with mercenaries to smuggle young men and women into the country as soldiers. In the next scene, we can see T'Challa's first appearance as a Black Panther. T'Challa exits the aircraft as Black Panther using Wakandan technology to take out the mercenaries' fence. T'Challa fights the goons before locating Nakia as they approach him. She travels home with T'Challa and Okoye in tow. In order to be present for T'Challa's coronation ceremony as the new king, the 3 go back to Wakanda and meet up with his sister Shuri and mother Ramonda. To witness all of the tribes assembled by a waterfall, T'Challa receives a drink from Zuri that neutralizes the Black Panther's influence. As a result, one of the other tribes choose to challenge T'Challa. However, when the Jabari tribe appears, their leader M'Baku steps forward to attempt to usurp T'Challa's throne. When T'Challa gains the upper hand and puts M'Baku in a hold over the falls until he taps out and surrenders, M'Baku almost succeeds in defeating him, allowing T'Challa to take the throne in his rightful place. Following the ritual, T'Challa receives a second ring to replenish his powers before being buried in sand and transported to the ancestral plane. T'Challa encounters his father there. As T'Challa sobs upon seeing him, they embrace. T'Challa expresses his worries about becoming a king and upholding morality. While T'Chaka is a good man, he explains to his son that it is challenging to be a king. Eric Killmonger Stevens is admiring African artifacts at a museum in London. He has a plan to steal the weapon. Killmonger snuck into her coffee to create a distraction. The guide collapses as Medic shows up. Claw and his thugs actually arrive. Killmonger steals the weapon after they kill the guards and escapes with his crew after they do. Back to Wakanda, Nakia and T'Challa take a stroll through the heart of Wakanda. She hesitates to continue working in Wakanda when he asks her to stay home with him to help him manage things there. Later, T'Challa is checking on a wild rhino in a pen with his best friend Wakabi, then Okoye, who is also Wakabi lovers, summon them to the palace. The vibranium piece will be sold to Claw that evening to an American buyer in South Korea. Since Claw killed Wakabi's parents, Wakabi wants to join T'Challa in his search for him, but T'Challa requests that he stays and keep things safe while he is away. T'Challa meets with Shuri before the mission. She has created some impressive technology such as sound-absorbing shoes and upgrades to the Black Panther suit. It appears to be a necklace that transforms each blow it sustains into kinetic energy. In an effort to locate Claw and his buyer, T'Challa, Nakia, and Okoye go undercover to a casino in Busan. Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman, who is also a covert agent, runs into T'Challa. As soon as Claw and his thugs arrive, he realizes he is being set up. One of Claw's men subverts Okoye, forcing her to engage in combat. Nakia and Okoye pursued Claw and his men as they rode through the streets in pursuit. T'Challa is being shot by the bad guys, but the hits from the bullets give him the kinetic energy that he directs at the bad guys. Claw crashes after T'Challa rips the tire from his car and reaches it. Nakia reminds T'Challa that there are onlookers as he prepares to finish Claw. Claw is arrested by them. Ross learns new information about Wakanda's future from Claw that he was previously unaware of. Behind a wall outside, Killmonger and his team set up explosive. Nakia runs to warn everyone while the bad guys blows over the wall. Ross shoves Nakia out of the way as they begin shooting, taking a bullet to the back in the process. While Killmonger removes Claw, T'Challa observes a ring on Killmonger's neck that resembles the one that belonged to his grandfather. To keep Ross stable until they get home, Ross is given medication. The bad guys proceed to the aircraft that Killmonger's plans to fly to Wakanda in. Due to his other plans, Claw kidnaps Killmonger's girlfriend, but Killmonger ends up shooting Claw before finishing her off. W'Kabi criticizes T'Challa for failing to bring in Claw. Then, T'Challa seeks out to Zuri and inquires him as to why Killmonger had his grandfather's ring. Then Zuri is compelled to confess what he knew about N'Jobu. The vibranium was stolen by N'Jobu in 1992, and in a flashback from that year, we see that he distributed it to other people of African descent so they could fight back against their oppressors. N'Jobu turned his gun on Zuri, but T'Challa intervened and used his claws to kill him. T'Chaka was extremely sorry about leaving his son Eric behind. Eric would later turn into a Black Ops soldier known by the alias Killmonger for his prodigious killing spree, which is demonstrated by the marks left by the victims on his body. Finally, N'Jobu's son found his way home to Wakanda. Killmonger arrives in Wakanda carrying Claw's body. Killmonger reveals that he is N'Jobu's son and that his real name is N'Jadaka. W'Kabi proves it to everybody by displaying Killmonger's ring. He challenges T'Challa for the throne and declares his intentions to extend to it. Everyone assembles once more for the challenge by the falls. Killmonger beats T'Challa mercilessly and almost effortlessly. Zuri intervenes to try to save T'Challa because she is aware that Killmonger should be angry with him. The horror of Ramonda, Shuri, and Nakia, Killmonger fatally impales Zuri and takes T'Challa down before throwing him over the falls. Killmonger becomes king as a result. Killmonger returns to his old apartment and witnesses the exact moment when he discovered his father's body. He finds N'Jobu old journals and even has a brief conversation with him. Killmonger commands everyone to burn a garden of heart-shaped herbs for future kings after he awakens, but Nakia is able to take one with her. Now, to locate the Jabari tribe, Nakia travels to the mountain with Ramonda, Shuri, and Ross. They ask M'Baku for assistance in a conversation. He informs the group that T'Challa was pulled from the river and is currently unconscious as a result. To prepare a drink for T'Challa to drink before being laid to rest in the snow, Ramonda grinds the herb. When he enters the ancestral plane, T'Chaka appears again and reapproaches him for abandoning Killmonger. T'Chaka expresses regret for concealing this information from his son and acknowledges that he did so. Then, T'Challa awakens. He asks M'Baku for assistance in taking down Killmonger, but he declines. Now that W'Kabi and other Wakandan soldiers are on his side, Killmonger can carry out his father's original plan to send their weapons to other operatives and mercenaries around the globe. T'Challa, who is now Black Panther, shoot down one of their jets as it passes overhead. The Dora Milaje are then led into battle by Okoye. Killmonger is now wearing his own suit, so Nakia joins Shuri and Okoye in their battle. Rhinos with armors are released into the conflict by W'Kabi. The Jabari appears out of nowhere to aid the Dora Milaje. Before Okoye intervenes, one of the rhinos almost knocks M'Baku to the ground. She coerces W'Kabi and his mercenaries into giving up. T'Challa tackles Killmonger and they fall into the vibranium mines before he can harm Shuri. They continue to fight until T'Challa uses the technology down there to tamper with Killmonger's armor, leaving him exposed so that T'Challa may impale him with his own short spear. Killmonger regrets not having recognized the true beauty of Wakanda while he was still alive and in danger of dying. Killmonger is carried by T'Challa outside the mine to view the sunset, which N'Jobu had told him was a sight to behold. Killmonger declines T'Challa's offer of healing because he knows he will only be put in jail afterward. Killmonger asked to be buried alongside his ancestors at sea because they understood that death was preferable to servitude. He removes the spear from his chest and passes away quietly. As T'Challa reclaims his throne, Wakanda returns to normal. He asks Nakia to remain in Wakanda once more, explaining that he has plans for her to assist him. They kiss one another. For the last scene, Shuri is accompanied by T'Challa to Oakland outside Killmonger's former residence. T'Challa reveals that he purchased the structure as well as the two structures next to it in order to launch a Wakandan outreach initiative under the directions of Nakia and Shuri, to a stop so that the children in the courtyard can marvel at it. The next moment, one of the boys comes up to T'Challa and asks him who he is. The end. That's all for today's video. If you have any suggestions for a movie we should review next, please leave a comment below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified when we upload our new video. Thank you and goodbye.